Coming up tonight on the special edition of Middle Tennessee News, it's spooky season, and tomorrow is the spookiest day of all, Halloween. One of our reporters, Izzy Goody, gets an inside look at a new ghostly documentary by an MTSU student.
Reporter Jack seeks out the Halloween movies that are sure to make you laugh, and an inside look at the scariest sports games ever played. All those stories plus your local weather and sports. Middle Tennessee News starts right now. Good evening, I'm Alexandra Aguilar.
And I'm Elise Sandlin. Welcome to Middle Tennessee News.
In the spirit of Halloween, MTSU student director Neil Burnett just released a ghostly documentary. The Bell Witch Project is out now, and MTN News reporter Izzy Goody caught up with him about the piece.
It's spooky season, and there's nothing I love more than curling up on the couch with my dog, grabbing some hot chocolate, and watching a scary movie, or maybe even a scary documentary. I'm joined with the director of the Bell Witch Project, Mr. Neil Burnett. And tell me, what was it like making this documentary?
Oh, it was a great experience. I love documentaries, so this had been something that had been on my mind for a while. And then I met the two videographers, Sage and Riley, over the summer, so when we started developing it in July, it was just a pretty good fit. In August, we set up the interviews and everything, and then in September, we filmed, and then it's been in post in October. And
it's out now. Yeah. It came out yesterday. I'm so excited to watch it. I cannot wait to watch it. Now tell me, you had a ton of different interviews while making this. Yeah. What were some of the interviews you had?
So we started off the documentary at the Nashville Library, looking at the different written recordings of the case, and then we traveled to Austin Peay to speak to a chemistry professor for her theories on everything that happened, and then we went to Knoxville, Tennessee, which is where I'm from.
Oh, hometown, perfect.
And we spoke to a witch and spell shop owner.
A witch? I'm kind of getting freaked out. I'm a little scared.
It was a great conversation with her. She was so nice.
Oh, that's so cool. And where can we watch it?
So it's going to be on YouTube, and then there's going to be a link tree in my bio that's got all the different places.
Perfect. Okay, it's also going to be on our website, middletennesseenews.net, and you can follow him on Instagram at NeilDog. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, you're watching Middle Tennessee News.
Thank you, Izzy, for speaking with Neil about his new documentary. You can find the Bell Witch Project on our website at middletennesseenews.net, or check out Izzy's social media at Izzy Goody on Instagram and TikTok.
If you are in need of any spooky plans tomorrow night, make sure to check out the Square in Murfreesboro. Local businesses will be set up around the courthouse square for trick-or-treating, along with homes around the downtown area. The festivities will begin at 3 p.m. and end at 5 p.m. As we enter Halloween, the city of Murfreesboro has some safety tips for trick-or-treating.
If you plan to be out on Halloween, here's a few tips to keep you safe.
Costumes should be bright, reflective, and fire retardant. Costumes should fit well and be worn with comfortable shoes. A child should be able to see clearly and breathe well if wearing a mask. Carry a flashlight to be more visible to motorists. A parent or adult should accompany a child if possible. Designate a route for your child to follow and a time to return. Treaters should go out and stay with a group. Go to houses and neighborhoods that are familiar. Use sidewalks where possible. Look both ways before crossing the street. Be aware of motor vehicles on the road. If leaving the home unattended, make sure it's secure. Secure your pets for their safety. Check your child's candy. Adults dressing up should remove masks and wigs before entering a business. Drivers, be aware of children. Exercise additional caution. Don't drink and drive. Officers will be out to make sure motorists obey the rules of the road.
Be safe and happy Halloween.
For more information on Halloween and safety tips, visit the City of Murfreesboro's website at murfreesborotennessee.gov.
And now Preston Todd joins us with our first look at the weather.
Thanks, Elise. Winter is definitely here. Our lowest high of the day is 47 degrees in Mount Juliet. Murfreesboro, Woodbury, Manchester, and Smithville all match a high of 49 degrees. Shelbyville and McMinnville both share the same temperature at a high of 50 degrees. And as for humidity today, Murfreesboro has our lowest humidity today at 89%, Mount Juliet 93%, Shelbyville and McMinnville 94%, Manchester 95%, and Woodbury has our highest humidity of the day with 97%. Stick around and I'll have tonight's weather and our full 5-day forecast. Elise, back to you.
Thanks, Preston. Still ahead on Middle Tennessee News, we have Halloween movies that are sure to make you laugh. That's coming up next on Middle Tennessee News. Stick around.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are officially one day away from Halloween. We see ghosts and goblins, scary movies, and more. But have you ever thought about those spooky movies that just make you laugh? Let's take a look.
Welcome to MTN News, and today we'll be going through the 9 Halloween horror movies that are so bad they'll be making you laugh instead of scared. Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Jason Takes Manhattan is a prime example of a so bad it's good horror film. While it might not be renowned for its cinematic quality or storytelling, it delivers a bizarrely entertaining experience that's hard to look away from. Jason Voorhees, the iconic slasher, leaves his usual Crystal Lake setting and takes on the Big Apple, resulting in a comically absurd and over-the-top adventure. The film's outrageous plot twists, questionable dialogue, and unintentionally hilarious moments that make it a cult classic among horror fans. Halloween Resurrection. Halloween Resurrection is another entry in the horror genre that falls into the category of so bad it'll give you a laugh. While it may not be hailed as a standout installment in the Halloween franchise, it has its own particular charm. The film leans into the early 2000s fascination with reality television and webcams, leading into some unintentional funny moments. The premise of the group of young adults being trapped in Michael Myers' childhood home for a live internet broadcast is laughably far-fetched. However, the film does deliver some fun, self-aware humor, and a few creative kills. Halloween Resurrection is a guilty pleasure for fans of the series who can appreciate its campy and often ludicrous take on the Halloween mythos, even if it doesn't live up to the heights of its predecessors. Plus, who doesn't want to see a fight between Michael Myers and Busta Rhymes in their horror movie? Jason X. This entry in the Friday the 13th franchise propels Jason Voorhees into the distant future, where he becomes a cryogenically frozen killing machine. The film's campy humor and willingness to embrace its campiness are what makes it strangely endearing. From upgraded cyborgs to virtual reality simulations of Crystal Lake, Jason X is a wild, imaginative departure from the franchise's roots. And for the fans of the series looking for some over-the-top sci-fi horror, it's a guilty pleasure worth revisiting. Brain Damage. Brain Damage is a fever dream about a large, veiny, phallic-shaped parasitic worm from centuries past that injects a very powerful drug straight into Brian's brain. The only thing it wants in return is to feast on fresh brains using Brian as its very own puppet. It's not to miss its anti-sex message when it comes to some of the gruesome deaths that happen in this movie. Like in all classic 80s horror movies, it's worth watching just for the absurdity alone. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Afraid of clowns? Afraid of scary space aliens coming down from outer space? How about scary space alien killer clowns? Killer Clowns from Outer Space is just for you. This film follows alien clowns who invade a small town, using popcorn guns and cotton candy cocoons to capture unsuspecting victims. While the film production values might be lacking, its sheer audacity and commitment to its outlandish theme have endeared it to fans of cult cinema. The movie revels in its own ridiculousness, making it a delightful and entertaining watch for those who appreciate the charm of funny horror movies. Frankenhooker. Ever read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein? Ever thought it could be darker, more relevant, and perhaps more sexy? Frankenhooker is about Jeffrey Franken accidentally killing his fiancée Elizabeth during a remote control lawnmower demonstration. The accident left her head behind as the only salvageable part. Then in his grief and use of his medical and electrical knowledge, he constructs a body using dead New York hooker parts, who died using... Now, with a body made of New York hooker parts, Elizabeth stalks the streets of New York looking for customers. This film is worth watching for all its cheesy, campy goodness. Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. The sequel to the film Silent Night, Deadly Night. This latter was controversial for its premise of having a mall Santa Claus go on a killing spree. By contrast, no one could care less about the second film, which spends a chunk of the 88-minute runtime repeating the first film. Sparing the last few minutes of the film, the rest of Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 has little to do with Santa or Christmas, as the film's main character, Ricky, spends time going on ridiculous killing sprees at a suburb in broad daylight. It's a movie that's so bad it needs to be seen to believe. Beware the Blob. Compared to the 1958 cult classic horror film The Blob and its 1988 remake, the 1972 sequel is nigh forgotten amongst the most casual horror fans. Beware the Blob is not as scary as those two horror films. Beware the Blob suffers from having a deliberately comedic angle, and it's very certain it was made to be as camp as possible to appeal to horror fans. At the same time, this campiness does make a good film to put on the background if you ever need to put a film at your Halloween party. The original Creepshow was celebrated for its inventive scares and dark humor. The sequel fell short in terms of production quality. Its reliance on practical effects sometimes led to unintentionally comical or awkwardly executed scenes. However, what makes Creepshow 2 endearing to fans of the genre is its nostalgic appeal and the earnest attempt to capture the spirit of the original, even if it didn't quite hit the mark. Audiences often find enjoyment in its unintentional humor and the way it embraces its campy side of horror, turning it into a cult classic among fans of so bad it's good cinema. That's our list for the top 9 Halloween horror movies that are so bad they'll make you laugh instead of scared. Did you agree with our picks? And if so, Go watch the horror movies and have a laugh.
And now, Preston is back with tonight's forecast. What do you have for us?
Thanks. It's getting pretty cold outside, so be sure to wear a coat if you're going to be walking outside tonight. Mount Juliet has our lowest of the oh my gosh, can't talk, sorry. Lowest of the low today at 30 degrees. Shelbyville, Woodbury share a low temperature of 32 degrees. Murfreesboro, Manchester, and Smithville all match a low of 33 degrees. And McMinnville has our highest low at 35 degrees. Make sure to stick around after the break and I'll have your full 5-day forecast.
Thanks, Preston. When we get back from break, Preston will be back with our full 5-day forecast, and Dylan Simmons will be in the MTN Sports Den with a look into what the week holds for sports. See you after the break.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Middle Tennessee News. Preston Todd returns to give us a look at our full weather forecast. Preston, what do we have to look forward to this week?
Well, at least it's getting pretty cold outside, but throughout this week it will be gradually warming up. Our high for today is 46 degrees with a low of 33 degrees with a 70% chance of rain. So keep your rain jackets handy. Halloween will be a little chilly with a high of 52 degrees with a low of 26, mainly sunny. So you might want to bundle up for any of your Halloween plans. Wednesday is not much different with a high of 50 and a low of 25 degrees, mainly sunny. Thursday's high is 60 degrees with a low of 34 degrees with sunny skies. And wrapping up our week, Friday will be our highest temperature of the week with the high being a cool 65 and a low 40 degrees with sunny skies. That's all I have for this week. Make sure to check back in on Wednesday for another weather update. Elise, back to you.
Thanks, Preston. I know that I'm looking forward to this cooler weather coming our way. When we come back, Dylan Simmons is in the MTN Sports Den. He will have a look into the scariest sports game in history and the rest of your weekend sports report after the break. Stick around.
Son, love is like the ocean. You have to tread the waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Jessica, will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all. If I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Natural disasters are a fact of life in the U.S. And between activities and school, chances are you won't be with your kids when they happen. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids can help your children feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
My text to emoji ratio has gotten a little out of hand.
A little?
Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
Welcome back to the one and only MTN Sports Den. As spooky season is upon us, let's go over the haunting action that took place this past weekend. Let's start first with volleyball finding a way to tire the UTEP Miners in another weekend series. Made it clear in their first match that they were going to play like Batman, completely prepared. Middle swung and connected early and often on Friday, with Kaylee Oscarson recording 13 kills and managing an incredible 722 hitting clip in the game. 4 Oscarson blocks and a double-double from Lowell Janssen sealed the deal in a 3-0 Friday sweep. On Saturday, UTEP made it a bit tougher on the Raiders by winning a set of their own, but it was still no match for the middle machine. Kayla Henley was the star of the show in this match with 11 kills on a .400 hitting percentage. Taylor Eisert followed up on that production with 47 assists in the match while leading the way for the offensive attack. Eisert was awarded CUSA Setter of the Week, and Adri Rhoda was named CUSA Offensive Player of the Week for their efforts in this series. The Raiders are now on an 8-match win streak and remain undefeated at home as they look ahead. Sports played on Halloween have always had a certain air of the supernatural around them. Today, I will give you a brief history lesson into the greatest games played on Halloween. Halloween is a day where the air feels different from all the spooky stuff around us. From children dressing up to houses being decorated with all sorts of monsters and pumpkins. While this all goes on, some sports still take place on this spooky night in October. So let's take a look at some of the sports action that has taken place on Halloween. Sometimes the MLB's World Series will have a game fall on October 31st. In 2001, the fairly new expansion team, the Arizona Diamondbacks, were battling the big, scary New York Yankees. The game followed the Halloween atmosphere with weird things occurring, but as the clock struck over to November 1st, the captain, Derek Jeter, would hit a walk-off home run and gave the moniker Mr. November. In the NFL, the Miami Dolphins versus Cincinnati Bengals matchup has produced barn-burner games over the years. In 2013, we saw one of the most unorthodox games of all time played on Halloween, as these two teams squared off on Thursday Night Football. However, the Dolphins were able to separate themselves in the third quarter with a coast-to-coast pick six in Miami Gardens from Brent Grimes. Cincinnati was not easily deterred, however, as they managed to tie the game at 17 in the fourth quarter, which led to a stalemate that would last into overtime. In overtime, the strangest ending in Halloween history took place as Cameron Wake blasted Andy Dalton for the first walk-off safety in the NFL in nearly a decade.
I know what's going to happen.
In hockey circles, Wayne Gretzky terrified many goalies in his historic scoring career. His numbers on Halloween are just as eye-popping and surreal. The Great One's greatness was on full display during a Halloween matchup against the Quebec Nordiques. Gretzky in 1981, at the age of 20, scored 4 goals and an assist in an 11-4 thrashing of the Nordiques. Spooky time may be scary for some, But the scariest people may just be the freakish athletes on the field. They have power that Jason Voorhees could only dream of, and they produce cinema that even Nightmare on Elm Street can aspire to. So if you are ever unsure of your Halloween plans, tune into a sports game. You never know what will be waiting for you. Ooh, spooky. As you can see, playing a game on Halloween can make for a scary good time. The costumes we wear on the holiday might be spooky, but the costumes the athletes wear show just how terrifying they can be. Soccer shocked the FIU Panthers right in the mouth on Friday. The Blue Raiders hosted FIU for their final regular season match of the year at Dean A. Hayes Track and Soccer Stadium. It was also senior day for the Raiders, and they made sure to give their old guard a ride off into the sunset. Manon Labarchi smoked a shot off her right foot in the first half that hit pay dirt for a 1-0 lead in the 33rd minute. Eden Qualley joined the party with a second goal on a tap-in the 60th minute to all but put the match away. Fittingly, senior Ellie Goff assisted on both goals, and all 4 seniors made an impact on the match. The Raiders ended the season on a high with a 2-0 win over a team headed to the CUSA tournament. As the team motto goes, they ended their season with pride, passion, and purpose. That's all I have for you today. I hope everyone has a spooky Halloween tomorrow. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Dylan, for that spooky history. Thank you for joining us on this spooktacular edition of Middle Tennessee News. I'm Alexandra Aguilar, joined by Elise Sandlin, Dylan Simmons, and Preston Todd. If you missed this or any other show, you can watch them on our website, middletennesseenews.net.
Make sure to follow us on all of our social medias on Facebook /Middle Tennessee News or at Middle Tennessee on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We'll see you on our next show, November 1st. Thanks for joining.
Son, love is like the ocean. You have to tread the waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Jessica, will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all. If I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Natural disasters are a fact of life in the U.S. And between activities and school, chances are you won't be with your kids when they happen. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids can help your children feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
My text to emoji ratio has gotten a little out of hand.
A little?
Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.